But what was the true nature of the terror that haunted the Amityville house? Was it just the result of one disturbed man's tragic actions, or was something far more diabolical at play? Did demonic forces truly take control of Ronald DeFeo Jr., or was it simply a case of a deeply troubled mind spinning out of control? Could something more horrifying be lurking in the shadows of this infamous house, waiting to torment anyone who dared to enter? The line between reality and the supernatural can often blur when it comes to cases like this, and the Amityville horror is no exception. What happened there is not just a mystery, it is a tale of terror that forces us to confront the darkest aspects of the human soul. Was DeFeo simply a monster driven by madness, or did something far more terrifying manipulate his actions? On November 13, 1974, in a peaceful, quiet neighborhood in Amityville, Long Island, the DeFeo family seemed like any other all-American family. They lived in a beautiful, large house named High Hopes, tucked away on a suburban street. To outsiders, the DeFeos were the picture of normalcy: father, mother, and 5 children living comfortably in a peaceful town. But as with many tragic stories, the calm exterior was deceiving. At exactly 3:15 a.m. on that fateful night, a young man named Ronald DeFeo Jr. woke up in a frenzy, his mind racing with horrifying thoughts. He claimed to hear voices that weren't his own, voices that told him to kill his family. The whispers were more than just figments of his imagination. According to Ronald, they were demonic voices that urged him to erase his family from the face of the earth. And so, he did. Armed with a .35 Marlin rifle, Ronald began his slaughter, methodically and coldly executing each of his 6 family members. His father, Ronald Sr., was shot twice while sleeping in his bed. His mother, Louise, was also shot twice, likely waking up during the attack. His younger siblings, Dawn, Allison, Mark, and John Matthew, were all shot in their sleep, one by one. What makes the story even more chilling is that Ronald didn't simply leave in a panic. After killing his entire family, he calmly went about his business. He took a shower, changed his clothes, and disposed of the rifle and the bloody clothing. But the real horror came when he ran to a nearby bar, pretending to be in shock, and told everyone, "You have to help me. I think my parents have been shot." At first, he made up a story about a mafia hitman being responsible, claiming that his family had been targeted by a professional killer. But when the police interrogated him more thoroughly, the truth came out. Ronald confessed to the killings, but in his defense, he said that he had been controlled by demonic forces, that the voices had taken over his mind. His plea sounded almost rehearsed, as though he was trying to justify his horrifying actions by invoking something far beyond himself. But was Ronald really under the influence of demonic forces, or was it a simple case of a psychotic break? There is a long-standing debate about whether his actions were influenced by a personality disorder or if the supernatural forces that he described had truly played a role in his brutal crime. The defense psychiatrist, Dr. Daniel Schwartz, argued that Ronald's antisocial personality disorder played a significant part in his actions, making him incapable of feeling empathy or guilt. But the prosecution's psychiatrist, Dr. Harold Zolan, believed that Ronald was fully aware of what he had done. This brings us to a question that has plagued many true crime enthusiasts. Was Ronald truly under the control of a demon, or was he simply using the supernatural as a convenient excuse? This mirrors a similar case in The Exorcism of Emily Rose, where the exorcist was accused of causing the death of Emily Rose due to negligence, as his exorcisms were believed to have contributed to her demise. The argument in that film centers around the idea of whether the truth was actually a matter of perspective. Were the supernatural claims valid, or were they a symptom of a deeper psychological condition? In DeFeo's case, his confession of demonic influence created a similar ambiguity. Was he manipulated by forces beyond comprehension, or was it simply his troubled mind manifesting a delusion to excuse his horrific actions? After Ronald DeFeo Jr. was arrested and convicted for the murders of his family, the house sat vacant for a time. However, in December of 1975, the house was sold to a new family, the Lutz family, who purchased it at a remarkably low price, just $80,000 for a spacious 2-story house. It seemed like an incredible bargain at the time, but what appeared to be a great deal soon turned into a nightmare. The Lutz family, after moving in, began to experience strange occurrences almost immediately. It started with minor things, unexplainable noises in the house, objects moving on their own, and the strange feeling that something wasn't quite right. But these small oddities quickly escalated into something much more terrifying. The most shocking event occurred when a local priest was called in to bless the house. As the priest entered the house, he reportedly felt an invisible force strike him in the face, a powerful blow that nearly knocked him to the ground. He later claimed that he had been physically attacked by an unseen force while trying to bless the second floor. The priest fled the house in fear, warning the family not to go back. But the Lutz family didn't leave. They stayed, and the terror only deepened. They began experiencing extreme cold spots in every room of the house, even with the heat turned up high. The father, George Lutz, found himself unable to sleep at night. He would often wake up at 3:15 a.m., the same time that Ronald DeFeo Jr. had committed his murders. The family heard strange noises, like growling, footsteps, and even the sound of gunshots. George Lutz felt as if something was watching him, and he began to have terrifying nightmares. The house was not just haunted, it was alive, feeding off the family's fear. In 1976, after the Lutz family fled the house, the famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren were called in to investigate the haunting. Ed Warren, a demonologist, and Lorraine, a clairvoyant, were well known for their work with supernatural cases. They entered the Amityville house with the intention of uncovering the truth behind the Lutz's terrifying experiences. Once inside, they experienced things that would shake even the most seasoned investigators. Ed Warren reported being pushed by an unseen force as he walked through the house. Lorraine, who had psychic abilities, began to experience disturbing visions of the night Ronald DeFeo Jr. committed the murders. She saw the events play out in vivid detail, images of Ronald shooting his family, their terror, and their suffering. The Warrens took several photographs inside the house, and one of them is particularly chilling. It shows a figure in the basement, captured on film. Some believe it to be a demonic presence. Lorraine Warren also claimed to have seen the spirit of a child in the house, possibly one of the victims from the DeFeo murders. This haunting evidence was enough to convince the Warrens that the house was not only haunted but cursed by demonic forces. Despite the Warrens' claims, many people remained skeptical. Some believe the story was fabricated for financial gain, while others think the entire ordeal was a publicity stunt. The Lutz family, in particular, came under intense scrutiny for their involvement in the paranormal claims. Was it all an attempt to make money off a tragedy? The controversy deepened when it was revealed that the Lutz family had a legal dispute with their lawyer, William Weber. Weber, who allegedly helped the family create a sensationalized version of the story, was accused of manipulating the Lutz's experience for profit. The book The Horror in Amityville was published, and while it sold millions of copies, many questioned its authenticity. But for Ed and Lorraine Warren, the case was no hoax. They believed the house was cursed, and the demonic forces within it were real. They went on record many times, stating that the Amityville case was the worst they had ever encountered. To them, it was not just a haunting, it was a fight with evil itself. The Amityville horror remains one of the most infamous and controversial cases in the world of the paranormal. The truth about what happened in that house may never be fully understood. Was it a case of a family struggling with the weight of a tragic past? Or was the house itself truly cursed, haunted by malevolent forces? One thing is certain, the terror of Amityville continues to haunt the minds of those who hear its story. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, the events of that fateful night in 1974 and the horrors that followed have left an indelible mark on our collective consciousness. If you were disturbed by the haunting tale of Amityville, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more chilling real-life horror stories. Like and share with friends who love to explore the darkest corners of reality. And always remember, the real terror might be closer than you think.